Hey everyone, g-scotty here. In this series, I try to get an hour of gameplay for every dollar spent on a certain game. So, with that in mind, is The Messenger worth $1 an hour? Make sure to subscribe, hit that like button, and let's check it out. So here's the thing, I like video games. I mean, obviously. But here's the thing, I was a late bloomer with them. I played Pokemon Crystal and Ruby a lot, and I would occasionally play other games when I went over to my grandparents' or my friend's house. However, there were just some games that completely flew under my tiny little boy radar that so many people love. Games like Super Mario Bros., Sonic, Castlevania. I knew they existed, I just never really played them. So now that I'm an old fart, anytime I see a game where there's a person that has to jump across a ledge and onto another plot of land, my brain just shuts down. My brain was conditioned for RPGs and, as a side effect, anime. Slow, methodical strategy. What the heck am I supposed to do with this? Once I got my first home console, I began to grasp the rougher things of life, like camera aiming and moving at the same time, clicking two buttons at the same time. You know, real gamer skills. But for the life of me, even to this day, anytime I see a platformer, I get shooketh. I mean, the same thing happens when I see a shooter, but that's besides the point. However, I remember the day I saw an ad for a game called The Messenger. I saw it was a platformer, and yes, my fight or flight did indeed begin to ping, but the stylish 8-bit and 16-bit art really caught my attention, and I'm sorry, wait, what is this music? I love musical scores of all kinds, but I have such a soft spot for chiptunes, and this OST, it's so flipping delicious! From aesthetic and OST alone, I bought The Messenger for $20 US. But pray tell, you ask, this game whose genre you typically have a rough time with, what do you think of it, and is it worth my hard-earned doubloons? Well, dear viewer, I'd say all fancy-like, have patience. I need your watch time. I mean, let's take a journey across the two-dimensional plane and find out. Oh, real quick, before we begin, if you've made it this far into the video, that means that you're in the rare 15% of my viewership. Congratulations, I appreciate your support. Alright, let's get to it then. The Messenger is an action platformer game developed by Sabotage Studio and was released on August 30th, 2018. The main hook of the game is that you're a young ninja, tasked with getting a scroll to the mountainous Glacial peak. It begins as a simple game with tight controls and fun platforming, but as it progresses, it evolves into a complex narrative with challenging platforming that tests your gaming chops. I gotta say, the learning curve is so steady that I never really noticed it until now I'm going back to the beginning of the game and getting footage for this video, and now I'm just realizing, wow, this is a lot easier. And this game is shockingly funny. I was expecting some laughs here or there, but it's insane how comedic it actually is. I will say that the light-hearted quips and jokes never feel like they interrupt the actual tense moments, which is something of a lost art nowadays. Gotta give Sabotage Studios props for writing such a good narrative. Now, I just gotta talk about it. This OST was created by the artist Rainbow Dragon Eyes, and my flippin' goodness, I cannot get enough of how insanely good everything sounds. I need more chiptune bops like this in my life! Seriously though, there isn't a single bad track in this whole game in my opinion, and the soundtrack quickly became one of my all-time favorites. And that actually segues into the next thing I want to talk about. I know a lot of gamers my age will say that they want games that remind them of their childhood. It used to be so much better back in my day, we cackle. Well, to say that The Messenger isn't its own thing and only meant to be a nostalgia bait, that would be really disingenuous. However, the devs over at Sabotage Studio themselves said that their mission is to, quote, create their own definitive editions of the game genres they enjoyed as kids. In my opinion, they really nailed the task that they set up to accomplish. This game oozes with personality, charm, and a vibe that captures a simple, easier time in, at least my life, where I never had to think about the bigger things like bills, savings, etc., etc. I genuinely find it to be a magical feeling to turn on The Messenger because, I mean, even if it's just for a moment, it reminds me of why I fell in love with video games in the first place. Now, I want to talk about a mechanic in the game, which is vital to the overall experience, and even though it was showed off in the announcement trailer for the game, if you want to go into this completely blind, I'd suggest skipping to this timestamp right here. Once again, it isn't a story spoiler per se, but it is something that I thought I'd warn you about either way. Alright, we good? Okay, here we go. At one point of the game, you gain the ability to time travel, which can change up the landscape and most notably, the music and art style, and the genre of the game? Wait, what? It changes from an 8-bit to a 16-bit, and it suddenly becomes a Metroidvania? Hold on a second, this platformer turns into a Metroidvania. What? Gosh, I love this so much. It's such a subtle detail and little changes here and there, but it adds so much personality. It makes the game so engrossing. It's just so good, man. We just need more games that actually care about minor details and add so much. We just... Look, can you tell that I like this game? I don't want to elaborate on any spoilers, but this switch up is just so masterfully done. The Messenger isn't just a fantastic platformer or even Metroidvania. It's just among one of the greatest designed video games of all time. I mean, in my opinion, of course. So it's fact. Okay, thanks, bye. I know this is a cop-out, but I'm not going to spoil some late-game plot points. If this game even looks remotely interesting to you, then for the love, do not let me or anyone else spoil the narrative for you. However, I will be talking about some of the things in the earlier game and hint at some stuff here and there a little bit though, so that's your warning. Please don't let me be the one to spoil some cool things for you. Play the game. And that's all. A prophecy foretells of a Western hero who will one day save the last of humanity, which is a village of ninjas, from the Demon King and his army. That day comes, and the devastation is terrible. The Western hero arrives late and tasks a lone ninja to carry a scroll far eastward to a chilling mountaintop. The ninja, who is now appointed as the messenger, travels eastward with the help of a mysterious blue-robed shopkeeper, who is the best character in the game. She's such a quippy nutcase, but not all annoying. Her comedic timing is great. Her backstory is surprisingly deep, and dang, I love this character. And Corbel. I love Corbel too. In all seriousness, I love that they explain that Corbel saves the messenger right before he dies, and that's the reason you have the in-game respawn mechanic. It's a very cute detail. Once the messenger reaches the top of Glacial Peak, he arrives at the Tower of Time, and other blue-robed individuals send him 500 years into the future to defeat the Demon King's general, and eventually, hopefully, the Demon King himself. And okay, this seems like a nice little way to end the game. Maybe a little formulaic, but the comedy and action really did make for a lovely time. But what if I told you, the game is nowhere near being over? Heck yes, my friends, this switch up blew my mind. The fact that there's just so much more compelling and rich content after you think it's over is just... it's chef's kiss. Once again, I do not want to spoil it because it's so good. You need to check out this game. It is so beautiful. I really like it a lot. The Messenger is an absolute treasure from start to finish. The traversal is fun and gets addictively more challenging as the game progresses. The action is fun, simple, and makes you feel like a boss. And the comedy is just, unironically, the best thing I've seen in a video game. Yes, that is because my sense of humor is so particular and it's weirdly just perfectly right there on the screen. But either way, I think you'll really like the humor. I know so many people who want more video games that remind them of the good old days. If you're one of those people, play this game. It has so much charm that reminds me of the games of the past, while having so much polish and insanely good narrative and character. If you're not one of those people and you hate old games, play this game. It has so much okay, I won't repeat what I just said. But honestly, this game is just incredible, and more people need to play it. The music is straight up perfect, the vibe and artwork is immaculate, and just feels so good to sit down and play. Sabotage Studio cooked. It's one of those few games that I would ever consider basically perfect. You just need to play this game. Hi, off script Scotty, and I just realized how much that I'm just basically begging you guys to play this game. But for real, it is so incredible. Like, I'm so amazed that so many people don't know about the messenger. Golly, if I could do anything with my power, well, I mean, there's a few things that I would do, but like, this is one of them. Just play the game. If you gotta wait for it to be on sale because money's tight, I understand, do it. But golly, if you're just like, okay, yeah, try it out, do it. Play it now. It's also a personal note. I know nobody from Sabotage Studio will probably ever see this video, but gosh dang it, you guys are so talented. This game is amazing, absolutely wonderful. I love this game. I love Sea of Stars. If you guys don't know Sabotage Studio, please follow them. They are absolutely amazing. They're treasures of human beings, absolute gems. And like I said, this game has changed my life. I absolutely love it, and I know that you will too. So, what is the final verdict? Is the messenger worth $1 an hour? Yes, and give me DLC. A massive thank you to all of you who are members of the channel, especially the biggest patrons of the month, my pal Johnny Appleseed and Telemachus826. If you want to support the channel and gain access to cool perks like exclusive videos, stream VODs, and more, click the join button to learn how. Love, peace, and chicken grease. Bye-bye!